One common pitfall is certainly pride. There can be a healthy desire to take initiative and a godly zeal, but then that has as its sort of flip side, pride, being thinking too highly of yourself, being immune to criticism, that kind of thing. So humble yourself before the Lord and He'll exalt you at the proper time. Another pitfall is entitlement, a sense of, because I want to do this, therefore someone must recognize me in doing this. Because I want to preach, therefore I should get preaching opportunities. Because I want a church to hire me, therefore a church should hire me. I think entitlement can really easily creep in to a sense of, urgency and desire and wanting to serve the Lord in those ways. But Paul says we have this ministry as we have received mercy. Ministry is a gift. It's a gift of grace. And in one sense, none of us earn this, even though there are qualifications. So hold those aspirations loosely and recognize any opportunity to serve God's people is a gift from Him. Related to pride and entitlement would be impatience. A lot of the work God often does in our lives takes time, and He uses setbacks and detours and suffering and not getting what you want to form you more into the character of Christ. The very thing that you might think, why is God doing this? I'm hitting my head against the wall. I'm not getting to where I want to be. Well, that very roadblock might be God's choice means of actually humbling you, teaching you compassion, forming your character in ways that wouldn't get formed otherwise. So waiting on the Lord is part of His plan for you. It's part of His program. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness twice. Which is probably a lot longer than you're going to wait for the aspiration, whatever you desire to be fulfilled. I think another pitfall, this is a real practical one. I think, I'll try to put it in a slightly provocative way. Don't work for a church that you wouldn't join if they weren't paying you. I'll say that again. Don't work for a church that you wouldn't join if they weren't paying you. It's one thing if you're the senior pastor and it's your job to preach and teach and lead the overall body to greater health. But if you're coming on as an associate pastor or some type of support role or any kind of assistant capacity, you want to think long and hard about what the culture of that church is, what the sort of trajectory to the present time is, and can you live with things as they are now, because you have a very limited ability to change things if you're in sort of second chair or lower. It's very easy to think, oh, I'm sure I could come in and give the senior pastor some good ideas and he'll listen to me and we can turn this thing around together. That's not going to happen. That's not how it works. If there's hard decisions to be made, he's the one paying for it relationally. He's the one that all the vast bulk of the angry emails and conversations are going to come to. So you want to think very carefully about how like-minded you are with the sort of ethos and philosophy of the senior pastor and the existing leadership. You want to think very carefully about what you'd be signing up for. So I'd urge caution and thinking really carefully about what type of support role you would go into. It's very easy to assume more agreement than there really is when it comes to serving as an associate pastor or a role like that.